Good day, brothers and sisters in Christ. I welcome you to our Sunday reflection for the 20th Sunday of the year, A. The theme of our reflection is letting go of discrimination. Woman, great is your faith. Matthew chapter 15, verse 28. A boy moved to the city for a job. As a devout Christian, he searched for a church to attend on Sunday. Fortunately, he found one a stone's throw away from his house. Unfortunately, it was a wealthy area. And the moment he entered the church, people grew uncomfortable because he was shabbily dressed. One of the hospitality ministers noticed the situation and approached him. He told the boy to leave because the church was not for people like him. The boy left the church deeply hurt and disappointed. However, that night he had a dream in which Jesus appeared to him and said, "Don't bother yourself because you were thrown out of that church. They threw me out long ago." This story is no doubt fictional, but it is true to life in its portrayal of our tendency to discriminate against those who do not belong to our in-group. This week's readings teach us that we forfeit God's offer of grace to be His instruments of transformation when we exclude those who are different from us. In our first reading, God challenges the Israelites to be opened to the foreigners in their midst. He affirms that His love cannot be contained within national or cultural borders. The gospel presents the encounter between Jesus and the Canaanite woman. This is the first time Jesus travels into Gentile territory. By healing the woman's daughter, He shows that faith, not nationality, is the only requirement for salvation. The second reading highlights this. God saves us by our capacity to accept His initiative, which is available to everyone. God is accessible to all people, irrespective of their status, culture, and religion. If God does not discriminate, why do we discriminate? Why do we need people to discriminate against? Answering these questions can help us stop discriminating and see why others do discriminate. Discrimination starts with the desire to belong to a group and to set parameters over what it means to belong to that group. This collective identity simplifies life, boosts self-esteem, and fosters connection through shared language and behavior. It is obvious that we tend to socialize with those sharing our race, ethnicity, faith, and culture. While this is harmless, it can also lead to subconscious rejection of those who do not share the same worldview, often resulting in stereotypes and caricature. Since we know next to nothing about people outside our cycles, we describe entire groups of people as lazy, stubborn, or snobbish. Discrimination limits our perception of people. Except in extreme cases, however, no one sets out to discriminate. And we are sometimes unaware that we are doing so. Babies teach us the fundamental truth that discrimination is not a natural tendency. Nelson Mandela captures this well enough when he said, and I quote, "No one is born hating another person because of the color of his skin or his background or his religion. People must learn to hate. And if they can learn to hate, they can be taught to love. For love comes more naturally to the human heart than its opposite." End of quote. What is the antidote to discrimination? It is letting go of our prejudice. Jesus ventured into enemy territory. We can end discrimination by forming friendships beyond our cycles and by becoming more curious about what makes others different. This outreach is easier for those who are open to change than for those who want their lives to remain the same. So this week, I challenge you to do the following. After Mass, we usually contact our friends to catch up, which is a good thing. However, how about reaching out to someone different today? Secondly, read a book or listen to a podcast that presents a position different from the one you have already taken. So, for example, if you are for global warming, read a book against it. And if you are pro-choice, read a book on pro-life. Have a blessed week.